intellect has to be trained. The spirit has to be activated and motivated to understanding what is the responsibility of a Muslim, of a man on this planet.
Lyndon Johnson, he can always raise this argument about law and order because he never talks about justice. But black people fall for that same argument, and they go around talking about lawbreakers. We did not make the laws in this country. We are neither morally nor legally confined to those laws. Those laws that keep them up keep us down. You got to begin to understand that. For 400 years, he taught you white man.
What Imam Jamil H. Rap Brown at the time signified was a shifting of the focus, and also a shifting of the civil rights paradigm, which said that, you know, black people were able to define their struggle themselves. They didn't need quote unquote good white folks to come out and define the struggle. That they indeed could define the struggle themselves.
It's no in between. You're either free or you're a slave. There's no such thing as second-class citizenship. That's like telling me you can be a little bit pregnant.
H. Rap Brown was important, along with Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr., because he represented the cutting edge of a younger generation's attempt to respond to the political paralysis that had engulfed bourgeois black leadership and so-called mainstream society.
When Al-Hajj Malik was martyred, the two leaders who the government felt were going to take over, if you will, were then Stokely Carmichael and H. Rap Brown. So when one of these major figures now becomes Muslim, and then if you check out the writings of Imam Jamil, you'll see that Imam Jamil began to take it even further than Al-Hajj Malik al-Shabazz got, in that Imam Jamil began to specifically lay out how Islam will benefit the black liberation struggle.
When he makes the transition to Islam, he survives and he thrives as far as his humanity is concerned, because the move from nationalism to Islam is the hallmark, it's the best thing that you could do. Then he comes into Islam, he brings with him all of that history, and he brings with it also his concern for humanity.
Something that's ignored for most of his public career. He has been a Muslim, and for most of his public career acting as an Imam, as a leader spiritually of his people, to bring enlightenment, truth, and justice, to encourage them to organize their lives around radical principles of love and charity and fellow feeling and sentiments of tremendous social empathy.
I think people will let you know that, you know, Imam Jamil, you know, always focus on Allah, always focusing on especially prayer. You know, so I would go to a place, I said, well, Imam Jamil is going to speak. I know what he's speaking about. He's speaking about prayer. We got to go to prayer. We got to go to the masjid.
The Prophet, peace and blessing upon him, Allah commanded upon him salat 5 times a day, prayer. Allah said, for it is prayer that restrains, that keeps you from evil behavior. It is prayer that begins to check your motivation toward dunya.
Alhamdulillah, Imam Jamil is a very, very unique person for Muslims and non-Muslims in North America. He does not only come with his pure and very highly spiritual, unique approach to people and things and issues. He combines activism with rationale. He combines peaceful transformation of the community and puts himself as a community servant. This is why people love him so much.
By being proactive in the community, the Muslims gained a reputation as keeping the West End safe, to the point that you had, there was one elderly lady, she's passed on now, but she commented that she wouldn't come out unless she saw a Muslim standing up there on the corner by the Imam's store, because she liked to walk the park. And so by us being there, it made her feel safe. And so you had women who may have been victims of domestic violence. You know, they run down the street to the Imam's store, or they'll see a brother, they run to the mosque or run to the brother for protection.
We've been together since 1967, and so I have witnessed the persecution, the harassment, the surveillance, and every effort that they can or every effort that they took to silence him. And Imam Jamil has never been a person to be silenced.
In my mind, there's no doubt that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has raised him up and made him a good sign for Islam in his country, and that his situation has changed the face of things. Things will not be the same anymore. We have somebody in our midst who understands the importance of fighting for truth and justice.
Justice, unfortunately, in our country is not colorblind, is not race blind, is not social strata blind, and we know that there are unfortunately, there are so many factors playing in this equation.
Imam Jamil has been accused of a crime that is at best a violation of city or state criminal laws. I'm speaking of the nature of the crime. Yet, when the law enforcement authorities went searching for him, this search was done by a combined force of FBI, federal marshals, anti-terrorist task force, and the city and state police. They were like incidental to the search. Why is this? You know, what is it about the importance of Imam Jamil and that would make people in government, the same people who it has now been revealed during pretrial hearings, the same people who have over 40,000 different documents, covert intelligence documents on the Imam.
If people were given according to their, demands or their claims, then some people would claim the lives and properties of others. Therefore, the burden of proof is on the one who makes the accusation.
After all, as a nation of laws, one is innocent until proven guilty. And the reality is that he's already been judged in the court of common opinion, predicated upon those conservative theological and social beliefs, as already being guilty by virtue of his past record of being able to speak truth to power in regard to the police.
I think Imam Jamil Al-Amin is a double victim. On the one hand, there is evident racial profiling in this country. And unfortunately, a system which has all the trimmings of justice, it doesn't always manifest itself very effectively as such. And on the other hand, he's also a Muslim. So you have this double problem of being a Muslim, and you already have this negative perception created by the media, and then a Muslim leader, and then a Muslim leader with a revolutionary past.
When these people searched for the Imam, and after his arrest, the local media in Atlanta, they fanned out throughout the neighborhood of the West End of Atlanta, talking even mostly to non-Muslims and asking them, what do you think of Imam Jamil? What kind of person is he? And these people, simple, grassroots people, many of them who weren't even Muslim, they said, we don't believe the charges against him. He's a nice man. He's a good neighbor. He's organized not just for the benefit of Muslims, but for everybody. We respect him. Our elders respect him. Our children love him. We don't believe this.
neutralize him as much as possible and neutralize anybody that is associated with him.
The best way, in their eyes, to silence him would be to incarcerate him or to kill him. And that's where he is now. He is in the jail now as a result of 30-something years of government misconduct and surveillance and wrongdoing.
Fortunately, the time has been an ally to us in terms of the truth about this matter beginning to surface. The contradictions in terms of the information, the misinformation and disinformation, the fact that evidence that was supposed to be there is not there, the fact that even where there was evidence, it suddenly and mysteriously ends up ending. Those were the pressures that we faced in the beginning of trying to humanize him, where the press had completely dehumanized him.
If justice is not served and the trial does not go well, then Imam Jamil will be in the exact same position as Mumia. That's to say, sitting on death row of awaiting capital execution. And we want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
It is a case that is worthy of support because, you know, they want to take his life.
He had called one of the brothers down there, and the brother said, well, what do you want us to do? You know, what do you want us to do? Because we were thinking, well, we have to establish a support committee, or we need to, you know, get the lawyer thing going, or we need to demonstrate, you know, what do you want us to do? And he said, it's time for increased ibadah. You know, increase your fasting, increase your salat, increase your dhikr, because it's going to be a time of problems, and we have to increase our ibadah.
We as Muslims are supposed to be awliya, ba'dahum ba'd. We are supposed to be supporters and protectors of one another. And so we just have to stand up.
We should do everything possible to have his legal defense, and I would urge Muslims to contribute. All people of peace and all people of justice, they should contribute towards that.
The brothers and sisters of this country need to assist Imam Jamil, because when assistance was needed for the Palestinian issue, the Sudanese issue, the Bosnian issue, Imam Jamil was on the forefront in helping these people. Even before he became Muslim, Imam Jamil used to speak out against the Israelis' actions in Palestine. This was in the early 60s.
He dared speak out and do things to improve the condition of a people and was persecuted as a result of that.
Last July, I visited Imam Jamil in jail, in prison. And he said to me, he said, I appreciate all of the work and the effort that people are putting towards helping me. He said, and I need their help. He said, but really, this is not about me. He said, this is about Islam and Muslims in America, and it's about elevating the level of our struggle as Muslims in America.
We are not motivated in that sense, that we begin to believe that struggle is based upon an effort to be free. We understand that the motivation for struggle is to correct the wrongs. For Allah has cast truth against falsehood, and he says, verily, falsehood is vanquished. Truth smashes the brains out of falsehood. Truth smashes the brains out of falsehood.